And we are back again. It's your friendly neighborhood film watchers. We are Frankly Football. I'm your humble host, Brandon, and I got my man, Honey Grant, headed off with me. How you feeling tonight, Chris?
What's going on, man? A little hiatus. Took a little time off for the buy, getting some different things done, but
Mm-hmm.
still staying in contact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, feeling good after the last time, we dismantled the Los Angeles Chargers, got that win, got out of town,
Yeah.
and now we have the battle with Los Angeles again. But except for this week, we deal with an old foe that we know pretty well,
Yeah.
the Los Angeles Rams.
Mm-hmm.
So how you feeling, B?
See, so Chris, unlike a certain team that so unlike Big Brother, who we face all the time and we sometimes lose to, we very familiar with the Rams because we whoop up on them often, right?
Okay, all right.
The last few times that the Cowboys have played the Rams, we put foots in, and that kind of makes my heart sing.
Okay. Okay. So you feeling pretty confident? You feeling confident about facing this version of the 2023 Rams?
You ever seen the movie Battle for Los Angeles?
Yeah. I don't remember it that much, but
Mm-hmm.
right now we're 1-0 with it. But yeah, we're in the process of doing our thing. Um,
Yeah.
they come in under 500 team, 3-4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, coming off the last time they played, they ended up taking a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Um, And this isn't the Rams team that we saw go and play and um, win the Super Bowl a couple years back. This is
Not
a
the same team.
totally different football team, but still rather explosive with Cooper Cup,
Mm-hmm.
Matt Stafford,
Yep.
Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
But a guy that you told me that came out of nowhere.
Out of
What you
nowhere.
going to talk? Yeah, go and give a little word on my man.
I had no idea who Puka Nakua was. And that says a
Okay.
lot considering how many players I watch every draft season.
Mm-hmm.
And that has already started this year. I watched going on 300 players
Yep.
last draft season.
Yep.
I had no idea who Puka Nakua was.
We never even talked about him.
Yeah.
Fifth round pick out of
Mhm.
BYU.
Yep.
179 players selected. So kind of chip on his shoulder, but really a guy that you didn't expect to come out and be as explosive and productive as he's been.
Yeah. Yeah. He wanted to be, the white TO to, Cooper Cup's white Jerry Rice. That's what
Okay.
he's trying to be.
Okay, I get you that. He got a little more melanin in his skin than
Little bit.
I get you that. But yeah,
He's like Hawaiian, I think.
yeah,
I joke,
listen,
I kid.
he's a pass catching machine. That's what he is.
Hey,
And
look.
no matter what his nationality is, he has done work. So I think with the addition of Cooper Cup coming back off of injury, and I think they walked him back slowly because of the amount of money they paid him, but also
Yeah.
his effectiveness. So now you got a pretty formidable wide receiver core with Tutu Atwell,
Mhm.
Puka, as well as Cooper Cup. Um, but
Let's pause on
go
that.
ahead.
I did not expect Tutu Atwell to show up this year like he did.
Oh no, Tutu is a can't go back all star.
Yeah.
So and when you're that fast, a lot of times you rely on your speed so much that you don't work on the different things that make you a serviceable and productive wide receiver in the
Mhm.
NFL. But one thing that he can do, hey man, he can fly.
Yeah.
And so as long as he can continue to do that, he's going to continue to have an opportunity to make NFL rosters.
Absolutely, man. I think that from what is this Tutu's sixth year in the league, if I recall. I'm just going off of the top of my head as I type it in, but going from his second year in the league where he was a very raw player who relied on, just like you said, wowing teams with his 40 time, and I apologize, this is his fourth year in the league, I believe.
Yeah.
Wowing teams with his just 40 time, pure speed. And now he has diversified his route tree so much, and it shows a lot.
I mean, he's like, listen, right now, he's showing up as a bust. He's a second round pick,
Yeah.
57th player picked in the draft. They expect a
Mhm.
lot more out of him. And what they're
Mhm.
getting out of Puka, they would have loved to get that out of Tutu.
Talk about
And
it.
so right now he's just utilizing that one aspect of his game. So but that's an aspect that you cannot account for, or you have to try to account for, or you have to respect, because speed
At
kills.
least try, yeah.
Yeah, speed kills.
And it's the one thing that you can't teach.
No, you can't. Yeah,
Um.
that
So
and
yeah,
size. That and size.
yeah, third year in the league, but he's a guy that just didn't. Yeah, and you're right, genetics.
Yeah.
So guy going from had 300 yards all of last year, and he has more yards now going into week 7 or 8 this year, than he had all of last season.
Yeah, I mean that's
yeah,
great.
man.
That's a big shout out to him. But we got to see how that translate with Cooper being back. So with him
That's
and
true.
Cooper, we'll see how that translates. I think that was really to the point that Cooper wasn't there. So they're gonna get a chance to walk this out after a bye, giving Cooper an opportunity to have another more week of getting back, like kind of in game shape, game speed. So it's an iffy type of game. It's a 3-4 team coming off a loss, off a bye, and kind of has some things set up for, as we could say, a disappointing Sunday if the Cowboys kind of stay, kind of true to form and sometimes. But this isn't the Jason Garrett era that we coming out of the bye, you worry about it. This is the Mike McCarthy era, but I still think there's some things that we have to come out and fix and really work on.
Yeah, so let's talk about the guys that they're bringing out onto the field. Starting with the Rams offense, because for the last few weeks, the Cowboys defense has been brought into question, right?
Right.
Are they as dominant as they truly say, especially with Trevon Diggs out? Micah Parsons has been brought into question with a lot of his words, et cetera. So let's start, with the Rams offense. We've talked briefly about their receivers. Cooper Kupp, since returning from injury, besides the Pittsburgh game, the Steelers really worked him and their whole receiver corps. Honestly, Cooper Kupp, is him. For lack of a better word.
Absolutely.
His ability to come back from a hamstring injury, which can be really tricky at times, and hit the ground running, for 200 plus yard games, multiple touchdowns, etc., is astonishing. And being a previous triple crown receiver, all around excellent guy. While he's not, the most physically imposing guy, he can beat you in a variety of ways.
Okay.
And I think that's something that you just got to be wary of. How you feel about him?
I just feel like Cooper is schemed up. He's schemed open. They, and McVay is quote unquote the genius of finding mismatches. The question is, who do you put the mismatch on? Do you put him on Jordan Lewis? Do you put it to the point? Do you move him outside, work on a blend? Do you put him against Gilmore? So it depends on where you kind of want to move him. Do you get him in space where he's running with the linebacker or running with a safety? So
that would be a mistake.
Yeah. So
the linebacker would be a mistake. So I'll say that off bat. But what would you do?
I probably see the thing about it, because you kind of got to play kind of like a zone, kind of be a little bit more physical with him. But but 2 years ago, he was the number one guy, one of the number one guys in the league, getting put on a linebacker. So if he ends up in a situation where he's on a linebacker, if he's on LVE or messes around and get on Damone Clark, we're in a bad situation. So you got to continue to kind of mix and match.
Or Rashaan Evans.
He may see the field. So, and finding ways to be able to cover up and be able to know where Cooper is, that's going to be a huge deal. Because I think if you stop him, then you got to find out where you're going to find where Puka is, because that's what they've been basically doing. If Puka's hot, then Cooper Kupp's chill. If Cooper Cup's hot, Puka's kind of chill. So the goal is to try to keep wide receiver 2, because you had said that earlier in this week. Keep wide receiver 2 from killing you. And in that situation, that's what you're gonna be able to do. But you do that. What's going on, my man? You do that by getting pass rush. And I think that's one of the things that you're gonna have to be able to do.
Okay. So, you just mentioned Puka Nacua. What is his strong suit? We watched him over the last 6-7 weeks. What is his strong suit that you're gonna have to play that game of chess, like you said, figuring out which defensive back to place on Cooper Kupp. We know what he does well.
Right.
He's going to try to surgically pick apart the guy that is across from him, not necessarily being too physical, or being the fastest guy across from him, but using the nuances of his receiving ability to beat him. He's never been the most physically imposing guy. But what is Puka's game? And that is the benefit of being a young, very talented guy. We don't necessarily know right now.
I mean, you're just judging off the last seven weeks of what he is. What he is he's a guy that finds space. He gets open. Mm-hmm. He knows how to run routes well. He understands defenses and different types of concepts. So that's what Puka's been able to do. But I think the addition of Cooper, that gives you another guy that you're gonna shift your attention away from and say, okay, yeah, even though this guy's been killing it for the last 7 weeks, we gotta stop him. And that's what I'm saying. If you're a boxer, if you got a great jab, but if the guy has a superimposing left hand, you're in trouble. So that's what Puka can be. Puka can be that left hand, that over the top left hand that puts you to sleep if you don't, respect him for what it is. And then you also have the ability, the quick strike capability of a Tutu Atwell.
Okay. Well, Chris, you want to know what's excellent? We have the benefit of film, Chris. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm about to pull up this Rams and Pittsburgh game to see what they did exceptionally well, to neutralize that 1-2 punch, like you said. That jab that works so efficiently, as well as the overhand right that can be that knockout punch.
I hate
it. And like Sam said, no Kyron Williams is going to hurt him. Us meaning he's a Rams fan. There we go.
Right.
So let's talk about that briefly while I'm dissecting this all 22 film that I have in front of me. The Rams normally would have a young Kyron Williams second year player at their disposal, but in the last couple weeks they lost 2 or 3 running backs to the point where they had to bring back Darrell Henderson. So they are now working with Royce Freeman, a rookie Zach Evans, who I thought was pretty good coming in.
Yeah, I did like Zach,
but had vision issues was one of the things that I kind of griped on him about.
Yeah, he always had that. He's a bruiser.
Man. Tunnel vision, dog.
Yeah. So that's why he brought back
Darrell Henderson.
Yeah. Yep.
Which he worked well for them, which was cool, but he's a little up there in age, if I recall, right?
No. Well, Darrell's no older than Tony Pollard. I mean, because they both played on the same football team. Matter of fact, he was on the 3rd round, and Tony was on the 4th. So, the inconsistencies with Darrell is, staying healthy. That tunnel vision that you said the same thing that you had with Zach Evans. So. Yes. You're just trying to find a guy who can spell, but the Kyron Williams injury is huge for them. So you got to go with Royce Freeman, and that means they're going to be more apt to pass the football because they don't have a steady stable of backs. Darrell's just getting back. He's like I said, he's coming off a bye, and so he's not going to be at full speed or full strength right now. So you're going to have to understand that their lack of running game, and don't let that running game get any life. Which the Cowboys have done pretty well this season, outside of the San Francisco game, but nothing worked that night. So, you just want to be able to contain the running game. And cover these three explosive wide receivers up, as well as Tyler Higbee as a tight end.
Thank you for mentioning Tyler Higbee, Chris. I think that he can be, a chain mover as far as the tight end goes.
Absolutely.
But he kind of gets overshadowed by, a plethora of weapons.
Yep.
A wealth of riches.
Well, I mean, but that's good. But for the Cowboys, that's always been the Achilles heel, the tight end, because the tight end usually comes out and has a pretty good game and causes many problems for this football team. So even though Puka's the highlight reel in the NFL and Cooper Cup's back,
he the new hotness right now.
He is the new hotness. He is the new hotness. Tyler, I think shutting down Tyler Higbee or controlling Tyler Higbee is the key to this football game. For a team that can't really run the football that well, you want to be able to keep the chain moving guys to a minimum. So I think Tyler Higbee might have a good game. Or the goal is to keep him from having a good game.
So here's what I think really is going to be the linchpin on all of that. The Rams' offensive line. You know how big of a fan I was of Steve Avila.
Yes.
I think that he is performing very well for the Rams. I've been watching a few of their games.
Okay.
He came from TCU.
Yeah, absolutely.
TCU obviously
big
performed
physical,
very well.
Physical, big physical. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Steve Avila was a body snatcher last year.
Yes.
Got to get the water. So I think that he is probably their either best or second best offensive lineman right now today as a rookie. But being able to attack the Rams on the outside is going to be something that the Cowboys can do. And Matt Stafford is up there in age, 34, 35 years old, somewhere in that range. And we have a plethora of pass rushers.
True.
We got both hands, bags full of them.
True. We have.
So when you talk about a DeMarcus Lawrence, who his pass rushing skills aren't necessarily his strongest point. His run stopping ability is definitely his hallmark. His calling card, but his pass rushing ability is definitely a highlight. Michael Parsons goes without saying. But then you have Dante Fowler who was able to find a second life here in Dallas, and Dorrance Armstrong as well. But then you got Sam Williams who's talking about free me. This might be the game where he can talk about free me, because I think that the Rams bookends on their O-line can be exploited. How do you feel?
I don't think well, the tackles are okay. I don't think the right side of the line is as weak as you would think. Rob Haberstein is he's not a really good, but he's a serviceable right tackle. And then Dotson is graded by PFS is one of the best, if not the best, guard in all of football. So
you talking about guards though. I'm talking about the bookends.
But what I'm saying is the right side of the line is strong. The chance for you to really go to work is on the left side of this line. And the fresh bread on the left side of the line is my man Arlick Jackson.
Alaric Jackson.
Yeah, Alaric Jackson. Alaric Jackson is fresh bread. He's nice and warm, fluffy and soft, delicious to the bite, nutritious to the body. And I think that's where you make your money at, off the left side of this line. So I think what's going to happen is, knowing that he's the weak link, Villa is a very big, strong guard, and he wants to run block. He's going to get better with his pass sets. But I think that's your weakest link.
And I can agree. And I think that the left side, of course, that's going to be the quarterback's blind side. And let him hit Stafford. Let him get to him all day long. Let him make him see ghosts.
Or at least try to.
I'm cool with it.
At least try to. You won't be able to do that. So I think that's gonna be the side you want to run to. But run blocking, Avila wants to do that. Dotson definitely wants to do that. So it's gonna be imperative that inside core of the Cowboys defensive line with Hankins, Mozzie, Osa, Chauncey Golson, those guys turn around and shut things down so we can turn around and Neville Gallimore, guys like that, to be able to stop the run, to force them into those passing situations where we can go eat.
I believe that once again we benefit from injuries in this particular case. Cameron Williams is doing very well prior to his injury.
Right.
It was not a season-ending thing, but he's definitely not going to be playing on Sunday.
Okay.
So that's something that we're going to benefit from.
Absolutely.
Darrell Henderson had to get off the couch. So even though he's going to play, them bones they gonna have a little creak in them.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he's gonna be just 2 weeks back, so he's not gonna be full strength. So the Foreman is gonna have to carry the load, and if you can go ahead and limit him and push them where they gotta throw the ball, which is kind of what we want to do anyway. We want people to throw the football. We want them to have to throw, but we gotta be able to be sound in different things. And like I said, McVay's gonna come in off a bye, and he's gonna bring forth a game plan to move his pieces around. We just gotta be able to counter that and go forward. And we counter that with understand what side we can rush from and get Mike on some one-on-one situation with guys so he can win.
If you think that there would be an X factor on the Rams offense, what do you think it would be? Do you think it's Tyler Higbee or what do you think the X factor on the Rams offense would be?
I think the guy who's a false multiplier has got to go with Cooper Kupp. But it's also going to go back to Stafford, how comfortable he feels with him after a couple of weeks back. If he feels like this is the old Cooper Kupp he's always had, then they're going to be able to stretch the field in certain ways. They're going to be able to move the sticks in certain ways. So it's going to take us with, a sound defensive game plan that I know Dan Quinn's going to come up with to be able to work and slowing him down. I don't think you can shut Cooper Kupp out or shut him down. You have to just limit what he can be able to do in the pass game.
Okay, and I feel you. Who would you put across from
him? Starting out, I put Jordan Lewis across from him, but I would shade the safety over the top of him because you got to do certain things and just kind of mix it up. A little man here, maybe a little zone here, just depending on down and distance and what you're trying to accomplish. The goal is to heat up Stafford so that he is not having the time to sit and pick you apart with those guys. Because when he has that time, man, listen, you say what you want to about Matt Stafford. He's a really accurate quarterback, and he's got a great arm. So it is what it is.
So does that mean that you are putting Bland over Puka?
No, I mean, Puka's going to line up probably on Stephon Gilmore's side. So that's going to put Tutu Atwell against Bland. And, Bland's young. He's a baller. He's going to be doing certain things. He's going to cover up his portions because the Rams are going to want to get the ball out quickly in space and let those guys make plays, yak yard plays.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you think that is... I hate to use the word a waste, but do you think that Bland's talents could be best used elsewhere?
No, I think he's getting better by the week outside. I think we saw him as a nickel corner last year and just kind of relegated him to that because if Trayvon was healthy, then he would be in the nickel. But I think he's starting to get better and better as a boundary corner as he gets more snaps. The biggest thing about the NFL, man, for most guys, they just got to get more snaps in certain areas. But I don't think the moment's too big for him. I think he'll be fine, and I think we'll go from there.
Okay. Let's talk about the Cowboys offense versus the Rams defense. Obviously the big name in LA is Aaron Donald. But here's the thing, Chris. Aaron Donald ain't always looked like Aaron Donald against Dallas. Zach Martin with them big Thanos gauntlets that he got attached to
no
his
doubt.
wrist.
Yep.
With them big infinity gauntlets that he got,
Absolutely.
into his arms, with the mitts, with these, Chris. He done put these on him.
Listen. Zach Martin can always thank Aaron Donald because he was the only guy in that Senior Bowl when he came in, was the only guy that could dance with him. Everybody else was getting their ass whipped except for Zach Martin. And that hasn't changed much inside the league. So it's always going to be a guard to guard situation from Tyler Smith to Tyler Biotis with Zach Martin. How they can try to keep him under wraps. He's going to be a problem. He is who he is. I think you got to be able to exploit these corners because
Yeah,
I think that's another delectable goodie out there for Randy Dakota Prescott to get off the snide with these cornerbacks they have.
yeah. I feel you. Um, they got the wrong Witherspoon out there. They might have wished that they had Devin Witherspoon.
Oh yeah, without question. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people at the end of last year would love to have the cornerback out of Illinois. And when I first heard, they said, "Oh, they got Witherspoon." It was like, "Oh," but it wasn't the Devin Witherspoon we were looking for. So yeah, we got some civilians out there, and I think that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what the doctor ordered for CeeDee Lamb. Michael Gallup, definitely Michael Gallup needed a civilian out there, and
Yeah,
Brandon Cooks.
absolutely, man, absolutely. Here is one of my guys that I like though. Rookie guy, Byron Young. One of their linebackers, rookie linebacker. Byron Young has been a guy that out of Tennessee performed in the Senior Bowl. I've watched him a lot of his draft film. I was a big fan of him. He was that third round draft pick.
Okay.
And he came in, and that as a pick has been paying dividends for the Rams.
Yeah.
How do you think that we're going to be able to attack? And he's been a guy that has been able to work in space for them. How do you think that we're going to be able to attack the middle of the field?
It's gonna have to be the Jake Ferguson coming out party. I think that's gonna be huge for us. But they haven't really attacked the middle of the field a lot this year. If you go back to the Chargers game, there were several times that you had a tight end running straight up the seam where Rain had to use it. They haven't really been attacking it. They've been using most of the outside, outside the numbers and around the numbers. So I think this is a great week to kind of exploit that, work the middle of the field, get some catches to Cooks, get some catches to Schoonmaker, get some catches to Jake Ferguson, and I think that'll work out fine.
Okay. Let me see. Let me go down their roster again. I think that people get so what's the word that I'm looking for? Intimidated by Aaron Donald that they, and when I say people, I mean teams, these DCs, these O-line coaches, etc. Right? That they throw three guys on them. They throw two linemen and they'll put a running back on them as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta respect them though, man. I mean,
of course you gotta respect them.
Multiple defensive player of the year. So I mean, you'd be foolish to think, oh, Zach Martin's gonna hold him down the entire time by himself. No, he's gonna have to need some help. But he can definitely, he's up for the task. It's just if he decides to move from him, how does he do against Tyler Biotis? How does he do against Tyler Smith? Those are the questions you got to ask yourself.
Okay, what's your contingency plan?
The contingency plan?
Yeah, if he moves away from Zach, what is your contingency plan?
I mean, his contingency plan is that you're gonna find out where he's at and just pray, hope and pray that Tyler Smith can handle him. I don't think. Sorry about that. I'm just saying my knee brace on my knees and bothering. I don't think it's like, okay, can he wreck the show? Which any defensive lineman, but a defensive lineman his caliber has the opportunity. But I think you'll be able to bode well that your other guard as well as your center will be able to work together to get them done.
Okay. I'll say that thankfully, he hasn't historically beat us up like that. We seem to have been able to neutralize him fairly well, right?
It's first time for everything. So let's not walk into this acting like, oh, he's old. He's still Aaron Donald, so he's gonna still continue to get that kind of respect.
Of course. But I want to put my thoughts together. We seem to have been able to neutralize him fairly well, right?
Okay.
So I don't want Dallas to go into this, naked and afraid, for example, who else did the Rams play that like if you remember week 1 against Seattle,
Right.
Seattle had 3 people on Aaron Donald in week 1.
Yep.
And multiple plays. They looked like I said, naked and afraid, like the TV show.
Okay.
And you just can't help but laugh at those moments because Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He might be the best interior defender, but not even might be. He is the best interior defender of his generation.
Of his era. Yeah, of his era. Yeah, he's right up there with all those other guys. Yeah, absolutely. No lie spoken on that.
But Dallas has historically been able to, contain the force of nature that is him. So I don't want them to go in that bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, as if they haven't been able to do it before. I want them to act like they've been there before. So, and your camera cut out, by the way, Chris, if you don't know.
Had to turn the fan on real quick, bro. It was getting a little warm.
Understand, brother. Understand. And so now looking beyond that, I think that Kobe Turner is a great young guy. At the time, he comes out of Wake Forest. I remember looking at a lot of film with him. But at the end of the day, I think that interior D linemen, as we're experiencing with Mamazi Smith right now, I think that they take a little time to develop.
Yeah, they have to take that time. But you get a great teacher in Aaron Donald with him, and so he's gonna get some one-on-one opportunities because you're gonna double out, or he may get some some misassignments of not told to communicating certain things. So he's got a chance to shine. But I just think our guard center guard situation is just experience and kind of just gelling, kind of moving and gelling in the right time. I think we're still going to need to get better push in the run game because we really haven't had a really great run game so far. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. I'm not really worried about these Rams DBs like I kind of started off by saying. Any of these guys, whether it is Ahkello Witherspoon, Jordan Fuller, Russ Yeast, another piece of fresh baked bread.
Yeah, bread. Yeah.
Or Darion Kendrick. Any of these guys worry you?
Not at all. So this is the get right formula. You know how everybody when you turn around you want to have a get right game. I think this is the get right formula. I think you go in here and you get off with your passing game. Get some guys some touches early and often. Continue to work that matchup with Brandon Cooks, getting him in space and him moving around. I think it's a great week for the Cowboys to be able to do that.
Okay. So we know about this Cowboys offense, but for the content, Chris, for the people, talk to me about the guys that you want to see. The guys going down this depth chart because this is you, right?
Right.
This is where I got some random stuff and videos and memes and all of that playing. And then this is where I got the chat box. So talk to me about this depth chart that I got sitting right here in front of me and that you might have on your 2 phones, because you like to be Kevin Gates sometimes. Talk to me about that depth chart.
Are you talking about the Rams' depth chart?
No, the Cowboys depth chart. These guys that you want to see. Because me personally, I think that Michael Gallup should be losing some snaps to guys like Jalen Tolbert because he's supposed to be getting right. You said this is a get right game. Jalen Tolbert should be coming out of that bye week, hopefully a little bit more right, Chris.
Well, I think you want Jalen Tolbert to come out and be right, but I think because of the money you're paying Michael Gallup, I think Cowboy Nation wants him to have a kind of breakout game. I think this is a game where you want to be able to work Michael Gallup at his strong suit, which is more vertical, jump ball type things.
9s and 7s.
Yeah, 9s and 7s. But I think you got to keep your number one happy because when he's happy,
absolutely,
the offense flows. So I think it's just going to be a big day for the Cowboys wide receivers. And I think that's what you're going to need going into the next couple of weeks. But definitely on Sunday, having a big game from Michael Gallup, having a huge game from CeeDee Lamb, and having a very, very good slot game from Brandon Cooks.
So you talked about keeping your number one wide receiver happy.
Absolutely.
In the latest Monday Night Football game, I believe it was, where the New Orleans Saints went out. No, not the Monday Night Football game. Either way, it was the latest. It was the Thursday night game where the Saints played the Jaguars.
Okay.
They could not get Chris Olave going at all.
Well, I think they tried. I watched.
Yep.
I think they tried.
There we go. See, Chris, we like this.
Yeah.
They tried, Chris. They forced him the ball 15 times. They force-fed him the ball, Chris, till he couldn't eat no more. And then they fed him some more. So that is what's going to end up happening. Not even what's going to end up happening. That is what should happen because you want to keep your number one receiver happy.
But then the Saints lose?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I don't think we're.
It doesn't matter if they lost.
I think it does. Well, it don't matter if they lost. I think it matters if we turn around and we force feed CD, or we can find other different mismatches across the field. I think you got to continue to just keep continuing working that blend. Getting Rain to use the middle of the field is something he hasn't done really well this year. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to come across and try to do that this year, or at least this week. At least this week,
because we ain't even got to next week yet, Chris. We can't worry about that. I'm not misleading, but I am clairvoyant B. But here's the thing. I just referenced the Saints. The Saints were in a situation where Derek Carr couldn't hit the backside of a barn, but he still forced the ball to Chris Olave, even when it was bouncing right off of his hands. He couldn't catch a cold in a snowstorm.
Okay. But
here's the thing. They still force fed him the ball.
So what you're saying is that if CD gets force fed the ball and he's not productive, then we should just go totally away from him. I think you got to get your number one receiver some touches early.
You don't, because he's still your number one receiver.
Right.
He's still your number one receiver. You gotta have that offense jumping like a trap house, Chris.
Okay, I get you.
You gotta have that offense jumping like a trap house. Shaheem came in and asked, do we think that the NFC is up in the air since Purdy and the Niners lost 2 weeks in a row? Absolutely. It was all good just a week ago, and now we got the same record. And now look at me, animated. Brock Purdy fell on his back faster than a groupie. He didn't even need a warm towel afterwards.
Nah, he didn't get none of that. So, I mean, but that goes with just the fact of the matter that they have our number, just like they got the Rams' number. Yep. But going back to what we talked about with what we need to do, I think this is just a really good get right type of game for a football team coming off a bye, and you gotta get your weapons going and making plays. And so CD's going to get fed the ball, but CD is kind of like 7-Eleven, man. He's always open.
Always open. Always open. Their DBs are gonna get burnt like incense, Chris.
Yeah, it should be a nice coming out party for CD. Coming back home after having said certain things about the passing game and things of that nature.
Absolutely. But going back to Michael Gallup, I think that it's a lot of politics in Dallas. And we got to be aware of that. And if Michael Gallup wasn't necessarily making a lot of that cheddar cheese, Chris, he wouldn't necessarily be able to walk in and let his thing hang.
Yeah, but I think he is a talented player and he's got pride. So you're gonna hope that Michael Gallup's got the pride factor kicking. You know what I'm saying? And and understand this is one of his final chances to prove that he's getting back, because Jalen Tolbert is waiting in the wings to get more snaps, and he's working out any situation he work on.
He's just waiting to tap him on the shoulder.
He ready to get a call. He ready to get some snaps.
He's ready to tap him on the shoulder. Let me get that locker closer to Dak, big dog.
Mm.
And Raheem said, so Sam Darnold is starting on Sunday. Do the Niners lose 3 in a row? It all depends on if all of the Niners gangsters start on Sunday. If Christian McCaffrey comes back, if Trent Williams comes back, Deebo Samuels is out. But if all of the Niners gangsters comes back, and their coach, Kyle Shanahan, is able to, let his scheme be his scheme.
Right.
They've shown time and time again that the quarterback is just kind of, the guy that's, collecting all of the tickets on the train. He's not the conductor.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I give you that. That's something that you want, but that's what you want to be able to do.
Yes.
So if you're gonna in this week for us to be able to, because we still got some woes that we still haven't really seen us come over. Our red zone efficiency,
Absolutely.
running game has not really. It's kind of like Luther's curl. It hasn't quite come all the way through. R.I.P. Luther Vandross, show him love. But
Yeah.
that's the one thing we gotta be able to do. Gotta be able to run on this team to be able to set up the pass. And if we can do that, we may get the matchups that we want and in the time we want for this team to have a really explosive output at home coming off this bye.
You mentioned previously that the Rams, that Cooper Kupp was going to be the Rams X Factor. Who is going to be the X Factor on the Cowboys?
In a week where you got weak secondary play, and I think this is CeeDee Lamb's announcement party. He had a really good game in Los Angeles against the Chargers, where I think with 11 catches against the Chargers. I think he comes back this week and he does it again. He has a double-digit receiving game, 125, 135, 145 yards, and 2 tugs. I'm looking for CeeDee Lamb to have a day.
I love it. I love to see it. Yeah, I think that CD is gonna have a breakout game as well. I also think that they're gonna try to establish the tight end quite a bit, just because Dak hasn't necessarily had a safety blanket. Jake Ferguson is a good player.
Yeah,
but we talked about guys being able to come in and let him hang. He ain't necessarily that guy because paycheck ain't like that. I think that they're going to try to come in and let Jake be a featured guy. Maybe not, a 15 targets featured guy like Chris Olave was,
right.
But don't be surprised if Jake get 8 of them.
Oh yeah. Well, when Jake Ferguson's getting 7 or 8 catches and his ability to be shifty and slippery and certain things, that really helps out this football team. So Jake has I think Jake's not going to be the leading receiver. And I don't think he'll be the leading target guy.
CD 100%. Don't be surprised if CD gets 15 targets.
Yeah, and I think if he gets that sprinkled out throughout the game, that's a great situation.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely great situation.
So we talked about guys who, I mentioned Michael Gallup needing less work, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I kind of feel the same about Tony Pollard too.
Well, but I don't think we have. I think Tony came back early because of the money. I think Tony is not the Tony that we all love. 15 to 18 touches, Tony. I think he still need to try to get those touches, but he's trying to do it differently by running between tackles and not really using his speed. That's not his game. That's not his game. That's Rico's game. That's Ezekiel Elliott, who's no longer with us. Shout out to Zeke. But
it could be Hunter Lipke's game.
It could be, but I think it's got to be a game where Tony gets back to his old self, and I still don't think he's ever going to get that until maybe next year. But broken broken ankle. Now broken ankle, man.
Broken ankle. Excuse me, broken ankle. Excuse me.
Get it right, and get it tight. So I'm just waiting for him to get back and be the guy he was, or even look like him a little bit. But he's still been able to be productive. But I don't think he's quite turned the corner to being the Tony Pollard that we all fell in love with the last 3 years ago.
Yeah, I agree. And as a result, and here's the thing. I think that part of the red zone struggles are because of them just banging their head up against the wall and forcing Tony to be, B-gap guy. I'm trying to get Tony to go, in between the guard and the center. Trying to get Tony to hit his head up against the wall. That's you're not going to see much success there.
Yeah, I just think we got a lot better up front. and I think we will block better up front. But I need him to be able to get to the outside and have that gear that we all fell in love with a couple years ago. I don't see that burst right now.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the main factor, but
Yeah.
I think the scheme is also a thing. The Cowboys have a scheme problem.
Mm.
The Cowboys have a progress stopper cultural issue, which probably won't be fixed for some time. But the Cowboys have a scheme problem right now. That probably won't be fixed until Mike McCarthy hands off play calling.
Okay.
Brian Schottenheimer.
I mean, he can continue to do that or kind of ease that over to Brian. Maybe this week it might be a few more things that Shotty's seeing that Mike isn't. But at the end of the day, this is a football team that's 4-2, going up against a team that's 3-4. And you just want them to come out with amazing energy on the field this week and do something special.
Okay.
So that all falls back to our fierce leader, Rain Dakota Prescott.
Okay.
Which Rain Dakota are we expecting to see? That's the question everybody wants to know. Which Rain Dakota are we going to see? The efficient one, ball security, but not afraid to make those kind of passes, or this guy that's been playing for the last 6 weeks?
Well, Dak hasn't necessarily been like a guy that's giving it away a whole bunch this year. Now hold up. Unlike another quarterback in the NFC East, Dak has.
Hey! This is a family show.
No,
hold on.
We at Jalen Hurts' neck this year. We at dude's neck this year, Chris, because they let us sleep.
Wait a minute.
There was fireworks going off outside at 1:00 in the morning. They ain't let us sleep, Chris.
But are you talking about the guy that's got 8 interceptions in 8 games? Jalen Hurts?
10 total turnovers. 5% in the league, Jalen Hurts.
Hey, well, listen, man, we're not here to talk bad about our close cousins.
Is it talking bad if it's facts, Chris?
No, it's not talking bad, but I don't want to harp on it because at the end of the day, right now, they've lost one less game than us. So all I want to do is I want us to get fully healthy. I don't want them to not be healthy. I want the turnover machine, which is known as Jalen Hurts, to stay in this position so that when we do play him, we can reap the benefits of that.
Yeah. I feel you.
That's it.
But that I said that to say this. It's not like Dak has been insecure with the ball. Like he has protected the ball, unsuccessfully. I think he has 4 or 5 interceptions or turnovers, something to that effect. I'll say that while I'm looking it up.
Okay.
He's been successful in protecting the ball.
But he's always been that guy. We're taking the anomaly of last year or like the year before when passing yards, how many yards did the receiver get caught on? We're looking at to base that. But I think the biggest thing they have to do to get all this out the way is to be more effective in the red zone. So the goal is to get the Super Saiyan form. And it's nothing like getting out of a bye, going against a subpar team to go ahead and start boosting your confidence again, what you can do in the pass game and go from there.
Mm-hmm. He has 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers. That's what he got. Jalen Hurts has 10. I've said too much.
No, you said too much. It's all good though. It's all good. So what else you got, my boy?
Score prediction.
Score prediction. Well, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys defense shows up big. Pressures Matt Stafford, and the Rams, all day long. And I got a 30 to 17 Dallas Cowboy win.
I will say 33-16.
You only give so you get just field goals.
Yeah. One touchdown. And whole lot of field goals.
Yeah, well, I feel goals. Okay. So
One
you so
touchdown.
you
All right.
expecting so you expecting the Dallas Cowboys defense to get back on the road?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I
Well,
believe so.
that's
I
what's up.
believe so.
Okay. Okay, well, yeah,
Mostly because I'm not too trusting of their tackles, and
yeah,
I think that off of the edges we're gonna get to Stafford. He's
that's
not
what's
he's
up.
not gonna be the quickest guy because he's up there in age.
Well, he never was a quick guy. He was never a run scramble guy. So it's gonna
Yeah,
be a good deal for him. So they're gonna know where he's at, and they'll be
yeah,
able to get at him and do their thing. That's what we're looking for.
yep.
That's what we're looking
Um,
for.
yeah. You got anything else, Chris?
Man, not really, man. You know, um, let's go ahead and just be looking forward to seeing them get much improved and working better in the red zone, getting people more established in. Let's hope for a productive game for Michael Gallup. I want the
Hmm.
defense to eat. I want to continue to start building momentum because we got a big one next week. One we definitely gonna talk trash about, but we're gonna wait till
Yeah,
after this one before we get to that.
yeah. One week at a time, Chris. 1 week at a
One
time.
week at a time. One week at a time,
No,
my guy.
we look. You can't talk about criminal if you ain't get through Thanksgiving first.
No, gotta do Thanksgiving. Man,
Yeah.
that's just right around the way, baby. The mac and
Mm.
cheese, baby.
There we go. There we
There we go.
go.
Whip it in the pot. Whip it in the pot. Well,
Hmm.
listen, man. 51 minutes, man. I'm over here struggling, fighting, trying to stay uptight with my boy, but
There
I'm
we go.
always trying to ride and rock with him. So if you've been with us this long and you've got some insight on it, and thank you guys for chiming in with us on Twitter. Make sure you hit the like button. It's free currency out here. Make sure that you share. And drop a few comments, man, to let us know you're rocking with us, man. Also, man, we're gonna continue to, back and forth banter and things of that nature. Make sure you hit us on X. You can find me at Playmaker8602. You can always find my man Big at Frankly Football, and we'll be able to do our thing, man. So as always, man, the sidekick, man. I'm like, Stinger to Brown Hornet from Bill Cosby and not Bill Cosby, the cartoon show. And I'm always a trusty sidekick, man. And I'm always kicking with my man BH, man. And we will forever and always be Frankly Football. And until next time, fellas.
Peace.